Life is not what happened to you, it's what you do with it afterwards, after the fact that you have been through a lot of stuff. So the psychology of moving forward in this topic probably is the title of this video. Hello everyone, if this is your first time, welcome back to my channel, where I actually talk about my life experiences and Bible verses, and also how you can learn from your mistakes. And if that's something that you're interested about, self-development, feel free to like, share, subscribe. You know exactly what to do. So as I've always shared on my channel, you are the only person who can solve your problem. I wish I have known this as a long time ago. When I was a little girl, I thought someone was going to knock at my door, sweep me off my feet, because that's exactly what fairy tale movies expect us to become, is to wait around for people to fix us up, wait around for a man to change our life. And actually, the only person that can make that decision is yourself. So you are not your circumstance, you are not your past, you are not what happened to you. It's after what you do, of how you raise up and rise up from that circumstances. For many of us want to be stuck in this mentality, poor me mindset, what I always talk about on my channel. Victimhood mindset is a place of self-deception. It does not make you a better version of yourself. It's gonna make sure that you're gonna be stuck there. It's going to impede your growth. If you want to be in that kind of mindset, feel free to stay there, and don't be surprised that your life is the way that it is. I am not saying that just because you don't like the job where you're at, or you're not in this best marriage, or your life is not perfect, where you see on television or on Instagram it's a perfectly curated life, it doesn't mean that you have to always pack your bag and move. Many people will always give you an advice, unsolicited advice, which you never really considered or thought. This is why you be careful the kind of advice that you take from people. There are advices out there that you should take it as a grain of salt, because not every advice is wise. Just like a tree, have you seen a tree keep moving from one location to another when there is a storm, when it's rainy, when it's sunny? A tree that is rooted and grounded, like a sycamore tree, it stays in one place. Even if there is raining, even if it's going to have a tumultuous wind and a torrential rain, a tree, it's not constantly moving, because if a tree is going to constantly move from one location to another, the roots is not going to grow. It's not going to be rooted and grounded. But unfortunately, we live in a society, in a world, where they will tell you that when one thing doesn't always go the way you plan, and it's hard, it's arduous, it's tumultuous, it's not perfect, then you must just pack your bag and leave, because they would say the other side is a lot greener. And I like one of the quote that says, the grass will become greener when you water it. And anything in this life, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot easier for us to quit, give up, pack our bag when everything is not going the way that we plan. As I said, everything that you have in this world, whether your marriage, your businesses, raising children, it takes a lot of commitment, dedication, devotion, patience, endurance, because that's how exactly we grow. If every one of us who's married, and this is our mentality, that if everything is falling apart, we can just move our bag and pack and change a partner, then no one in this world is going to stay married. But we, as a follower of Christ, we are told that you have to really be rooted and grounded. We have to be immovable. We have to be steadfast. We have to endure through hardships, count it with all joy, and persevere. In doing so, you're going to build your character, and it's actually good for your faith. So the psychology of growing to be this person that you want to be is decide which ones to choose to think and which ones to let go. As I said from my last video, it all starts up here. Our brain is malleable. Whatever we ponder, whatever we ruminate, whatever we think about, it will magnify. If we constantly think about the past, if we constantly think about our problem, that is going to make us feel depressed. It's going to make us feel sad. So what is the antidote of that is to change your thoughts. You replace it with positive thoughts, according to Philippians 4:8. If you have not watched that video, go back to my playlist. I talk about that from my last video. Check it out. The power of our thoughts, it all starts from here. It says to fix your thoughts on what is true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, admirable, to think things that are excellent and worthy of praise, to meditate on these things, so that you are going to tell your brain that this is what we're going to think about. I just had a very meltdown moment before I produced this video, but I did not stay there. The beautiful thing about us, if you want to develop a self-development, is that growing is not linear. It is not just a straight path. It is a misconception for many of us to think that growth is just going to have an easy breezy cover girl ride, when in fact, when you want to grow, you're going to have relapse. You're going to digress. You're going to feel like you're going 3 steps behind, and sometimes you're moving forward 5 steps ahead. And it's just how life is. C'est la vie. Life happens, problem occurs. We deal with difficult people in our lives. Sometimes we are having a good days, and sometimes we have bad days. It is what it is. And it's actually, life is going to teach you who you really are in the midst of the problem. And so after you just have this meltdown like I did, you just have to dust off your feet and says, you know what? I am not going to stay here for a moment. Just do it. According to Nike, the best antidote for retracting and actually recalibrating your mind is just be a doer. And if you have something to do, this is why it's important to just not ponder on your problem too much. You got to have something to aim and something to look forward to, because if not, you're going to have this self-pity party and you're going to just be depressed and you're just going to waste your time away. So as I said, the psychology of doing things and be the better version of yourself is choose how you think and let go of anything that does not contribute to your growth. And ego, keep you safe. Familiarity, sometimes when we are in this familiar place, our ego wants us to keep in this comfort zone. It tries to protect us, because we do have this idea in our head that if you're going to do something differently of your life, what if this thing will happen? What if you're going to fail? What if it doesn't work? And so when you want to develop something, don't be surprised that your brain and your subconscious mind is going to tell you that this is unfamiliar and this is very scary, because it's not a place that you have never been to. If you're going to stick to that kind of familiarity, if you're not going to challenge yourself or try to get out of your comfort zone, you're going to be stagnant. And that's why many people, even though they look as though they're old, their body is about 60s or 70s, but their mindset is still the same. They have not grown up yet. They're still immature. They're limited mindset. They don't have a growth mindset. They're still doing the same things over and over again. And that's what you call insanity, according to Albert Einstein. How do you define insanity? Doing things over and over again, expecting a different result. If you want to change the result of your life, you must assess your life. You must ask yourself the question, what kind of life would I like to live? Where would I want to go? The goals that I want to achieve. What kind of things that I want to do for myself 5 years from now? As I asked this question many years now, last few months, I asked God, what is life? And I was answered, life is an art. It is an art. When you think about life, it is what you make. God gives you the ability to choose how you curate your life. If you do your part, God is going to do the rest. God doesn't help you if you're not willing to help yourself. That is just the law of nature. You reap what you sow. This is why even if you are the most talented, versatile, the smartest person in the world, if you're not doing anything, God cannot possibly do things for you. You have to do the action. That's why we live by faith and not by sight. Before you see some result, before you see something is changing in your life, first of all, God expects you to do your part, to do this inner reflection. You have to assess your life. You have to be honest with yourself. What are the habits that I need to let go? What are the things in my life that is not contributing to my future? on the other hand, what are the things that I must keep and the things that I must improve? This is why I said you must invest in yourself. The greatest investment you can ever give is to yourself. Your education is stimulating your brain by reading good books, listening to podcasts, educational podcasts, resting if possible. These are the tools that can help you to become a better version of yourself. Because according to somewhere in Jeremiah, God is gonna give you a reward according to the labor of your fruits, according to the doings of your hand. It is not up to the people around you to change you. As I said, I waited for someone, a government, family, to knock at my door saying, I am here at your rescue. I was waiting for Batman to sweep me up of his feet and say, I will save the day, because you have been living in this depression mode. None of that happened. I waited for Mr. Hero and nobody came. And so God actually showed me this verse when it all changed the course of my life. The verse that says, Jesus said, pick up your mat and walk. I was reading this verse and that just clicked. It's like an epiphany, a light bulb moment when Jesus said to this man who laid down for 38 years at the same pool. He was waiting and waiting, and he would always say, well, every time I try to come to this pool, somebody would always come before me. He made excuses. Jesus only asked this question, would you like to be better? Do you want to be made well? And the man, of course, gave a lot of excuses, and Jesus didn't want to hear it, and he just said, pick up your mat and start walking. It's simple, but it's not easy, because many of us would like to stay static. We would like us to be stagnant. We don't want to do the work because it's hard. Like working out is difficult. Eating the right food is hard. Drinking water is hard. Turning off distraction is hard. Investing in your future is hard. Reading good books is hard, because if it was that easy, everyone would have done it by now. This is why we must discipline ourselves. And another thing is that teach your ego and practice visualization. I don't know where and which book I have gotten this from. I think this might be one of those books that I have read about success, about the mind shifting. I'm not sure exactly the title of the book. So it is about your ego. As I said, we have a lot of belief system that is based on ego. It's about our self perception that is tainted, that is clouded, that is not even the truth. So when you want to also create the life that you want, psychology of developing yourself is to visualize. Visualization has helped me tremendously. I used to daydream a lot as a child, especially when a subject is something that disinterests me. Sometimes I would find myself daydreaming about what kind of life I would like to live. And even when I wrote my book in 2019, the link is down below, I also visualized myself to finish the book. Everything that is done are created 3 times. One, in your mind, it starts your imagination. The same thing with the cell phone. Steve Jobs started to create this physical Apple in his imagination. Secondly, you have to have a blueprint. You need to design what kind of features and the things that you want on your product. And thirdly is the execution. So if you want to create the life that you want, the psychology of developing yourself, you have to visualize, curate your life like an editor-in-chief. What kind of life would you like to live? How much money would you like to make? How can I improve as a woman? How can I embody? Because in this life, we always think about the external. We only like to fix the physical appearance. We like to fix our hair, our makeup, our teeth, but we always forget to fix our heart. As a woman, we like to put on a mask, which is a makeup, to put on a facade that where everything is okay. But if we don't really deal with our wounds, our inner child wounds, our trauma, the things that we have held so dear and shoved under the rug, we're never going to be better. It doesn't matter how much makeup you put on your face. It doesn't matter how many clothes you wear and how much shopping you're doing. That does not matter when you don't deal with your heart issue. When you're not dealing with your trauma, you're actually just numbing your pain. Many people that are addicted to shopping, gambling, sex addiction, alcoholism, drug addiction are numbing their pain. These are their defense mechanism so that they can just pretend like I have no problem instead of dealing with their pain and taking the skeletons out of their closet and really going to the nitty-gritty of the problem, many of us like to hide because it's too uncomfortable. It's not good to ponder and to sit with your pain. It's unpleasant. It is discomforting because you are now face to face with your other self, trying to tell you this problem has always been here, but the problem is we're too caught up in this world to medicate, to have a substance abuse, because we like to just pretend like it's not there. That's why Jesus said the truth will set you free. The moment you sit with yourself and really admit that you have a problem, that you need help in some areas, that will eventually going to cut the ties of and shackles that has been bound you forever. That imprisonment, that captivity is going to just fall off the ground. The moment I have dealt with my pain, it was hard. It took me 10 years before I could tell a soul about what happened to me. I had to hide, I had to pretend, I had to cover up. I had double life. Look, on the outside, I was so pretty and happy. And I was going through a picture a few months ago. As I was cleaning my picture, I saw an old photos of me. I looked very happy. I was very happy. I had a photo with my friends where we went clubbing. And in this picture, I was smiling. My face was brimming with a smile. And then my husband saw my picture and he said, "Wow, you looked happy in this picture." I was about 22 years old. And I told him, do not be fooled by the look. This picture of mine, I looked very happy, but nobody knew that I was dealing with depression. And every time I come home, I would cry myself to sleep and I just want to kill myself. And that is the hard truth, because many of us would love to pretend. We like to put on this mask for the world to see that everything is fine, everything is good, I'm happy. But deep down inside your heart, you are lost, you are wounded, you are carrying the secret that you wish you could just burst out and tell a soul. But at that moment, all I knew was to hide my pain by pretending like everything was fine. But nobody in my family, nobody knew. My friends did not even know I was dealing with these demons inside of me, wrestling with this every time before I go to sleep. And before I knew it, the whole thing just come out of me. Wrath of anger. You became so snappy, you become triggered. These are the signs that your body is telling you you must deal with the pain, because eventually that thing is going to explode. So that's why when I became really angry, I was snappy, I was triggered, I was very angry all of the time, impatience. And I thought to myself, where did this come from? What is the original cause of this? This is why you have to really go to the root cause of your issue, because if you don't, it's just going to explode like a volcano. And another thing is that you have to do whatever it takes to make you feel good. We, as I said, can be our own greatest cheerleader, and we can be our own greatest enemy. Do not listen to people. You can listen to your body. If your body says, I need rest, I need to just sit down for a few minutes, I need to maybe get off from social media for a few months or a few weeks, listen to what makes you feel good. The body, sometimes we have all the pain, like headache, we have this, muscle spasm. These are warnings, and these are the signs that your body is telling you, hey, something is not right. Because we as a society have been led to think, especially in the Western culture, the hustle culture, keep going like a hamster on the wheel. It just doesn't end. This is why you permit yourself, you allow yourself to listen to your body, to be attuned to yourself, and ask yourself the question, what do I need today? Especially for us women who goes through hormonal imbalances, we have periods, we have all these things happening to us during our period. Isn't it funny how when someone is bleeding, We rush them to the hospital. We take care of them. We call the ambulance and they go to the emergency room. But when a woman in her cycle, we expect her to be in her best optimal self when in fact she needs more rest at that time. She needs to just take it easy because you're bleeding for 3 to 5 years, depending on how long your menstrual cycle is. But that's exactly why, as women, sometimes when you are attuned to your body, when you need rest, when you need to just chill, read a book, and maybe don't care about what everybody else are doing, and just go to your room and maybe have a meditation, I don't know, whatever it takes to make you feel good. At that moment, you can actually allow yourself to slow down, because that's a time when you're taking care of your body's need. And also you have to surrender the control and the how. This is one of the hardest things. If you want to develop, one of the things in life is to surrender. I am such a control freak. Yes, I like to control everything, everyone. However, that drives you crazy, because I have learned the hard way that you can't control everybody. You can't. I mean, I tried. The greatest and the hardest thing to do is to relinquish the control. This is why Jesus said, deny yourself, pick up your cross and follow me. Denying yourself. It's surrender to him. It's about relinquishing everything that you think you have to do for yourself. It is one of the hardest things, is to surrender and to let go of what you think is the best for your life. I know it is counterintuitive. On one hand, you need to have goals, you need to have dreams, you need to have visions. On the other hand, you do your part and then you just let go and see what happens. As long as you do your part, you put in the work and you let it grow, but you're not going to be so caught up in like, oh my goodness, what if this doesn't work? What if this fails? What if nobody is watching my video? What if I have no supporters? That is in this controlling moment. You're always trying to maneuver things and wishing that you can manipulate the algorithm or manipulate people in your life. And that is where I'm working, when God said, you got to let go. Let go of the opinions of people. Let go of what they think of you. Let go of the outcome. As long as you did your part, and that's the important thing, is do your part, do your best, show up and give the best you've got, and then watch it happens. Just watch how it goes. And because that is the beauty of surrendering and letting go, is the art of letting go. And I think I have made a video of this many years ago, is the art of letting go. When sometimes as a woman, you just don't feel like cooking or cleaning or doing your laundry, you allow yourself, you have enough grace for yourself, saying, okay, today I was kind of lazy, I didn't want to do anything, I'm going to do better tomorrow or the next day, and you're going to pick up where you left off. Because as I said, we are not machines. We are not human doings. We are human beings. We have to learn to be still sometimes. We have to learn to really just allow for ourselves to be in our own head, to think about what we want. We are so caught up in this, always having the to-do list, the checklist, especially in this culture. As I said, we are programmed to be always doing and getting things done, when sometimes we actually are not learning about the things that we need for our body. Maybe we need more sleep, maybe we need more water, and maybe we need to just, again, decompress. And then I don't know which part I'm now. It is also to practice gratitude. Another thing that if you want to have a psychology of self-development and grow to be the best version of yourself is gratitude. Being grateful, appreciation is one of the things to cultivate joy. If you want to have joy in your life, you learn to have gratitude. Being thankful for the life that you have now, and not focus on the things that you don't have. Sometimes we get so caught up on the things that we don't have, or we sometimes go look into somebody else's post on Instagram, says, I wish I can have their life, I wish I have their spouses, I wish I have their house, I wish I have the kind of hair that she has. We always competing, trying to look for other people's, that's what you call covetousness, idolatry, and it's actually a sin. When you really know to be content and to be grateful for what you have, look around you. I'm pretty sure if you really are so on purpose and you start counting your blessings, you'll be surprised that you you have so many things to be grateful for. Like this morning, the sun just came out without you even trying. The air that you're breathing is now here and you're alive. The fact that you're still living is God is not done with you yet. And another thing is the food on your table. If you live in this country, the United States of America, you are one of the richest people in the world, because some parts of the world, they can't even afford to have food on their table. They can't even afford to have something to eat. But if you have clothes on your back, you have a car that is running, you have a shelter, you have a pillow to sleep on, you are rich, my friend. So it's about your perspective. It's about you being appreciative on the small things in life, even maybe a laughter with your children, joking with your child, your son or your daughters. The little things in life, the free things in life that are actually free, are sometimes we neglect them and we forget to be thankful for them. And that's why gratitude is actually one of the reasons why we become successful. When you are grateful at heart, God hates complainers. God despises people who are complaining all the time. Nothing is ever good. They're always complaining and always looking at this glass half empty instead of half full. They're pessimistic. They always have all this cloud hanging on their head, and everything is sad and everything is bad and nothing is ever good in my life. So you just know when people in this kind of situation, they are not good up here. They need to change and shift their mindset. And this is why when you practice gratitude, you are more grateful. And then I guess this will be the last but not the least, is the psychology of really living the best that life you have, and to self-develop yourself is you have to heal. You have to heal. Maybe that's the last point. You have to learn how to heal. If people would just take the time to take responsibility and to be honest with their issues, this would be one of the greatest worlds to live in this world, right? If we stop pointing the finger, if we stop being self-righteous, I'm holier than thou, and I am better than you, and you are not right, and you're not good. We have been divisive. As a society, you cannot be deceived. We have been conditioned to fight against each other. And I know I didn't want to talk about this, but let's address the elephant in the room. The Olympics. It is the controversial, and of course you hear these people saying they are attacking Christians because of the opening and this show. It's about the mockery of the Last Supper of Jesus Christ, and Christians must do something. So some people would say that Christians, you have to fight and you have to defend Jesus Christ. And all I can say is that that is coming from vindictiveness, retaliation. Healing is not about retaliation. When you're truly healed from your wounds, you have no time to vindicate yourself. You have no time to retaliate. Let God be God. God said, do not avenge yourself, for this battle is not yours, but it is mine. You think God is not aware of what's happening around us? Do you think he's up in heaven scratching his head, oblivious to what's happening around us? He's not. He is aware of what's happening around us. So that's why heal from your wounds, and you have to be honest with yourself, because that's exactly where we can have a better future, a better life, if we can just see from Jesus' perspective. Jesus said, I did not come to condemn the world, but to love those who are lost and to pray for those people, to love our enemies, even if sometimes we don't see eye to eye. We have to really love them, pray for them. And we have to really ask God to heal these people, because they don't know any better. They're blind. They are dead men walking today. And so if you're healed, you're not going to be in the place of fighting with a tooth comb. You're in the place of, let me pray for these people because they're lost, they're blind, they don't know any better. Instead of retaliation, instead of vindictiveness of how can I pay them back, that is a place of unhealed wounds. You become bitter, resentful, angry, and the next thing you know, it leads to disaster and chaos. And so that is all, my friend, that I would like for you to think about. The ways that you can, so the psychology, it is about the mindset of being a better version of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you.